Jalen Brunson. Wow, talk about turning around a franchise that has been known for losing. Not only that, but Jalen Brunson has just led the Knicks to the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Wow, just wow. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Jalen Brunson playing incredible basketball for the Knicks as he changed the culture of New York Knicks basketball. With an epic 40-point performance from Jalen Brunson, the Knicks were able to beat the Bulls in the season finale on national television. Despite missing Julius Randle for the rest of the season, the Knicks were able to win 50 games in the regular season for the first time ever since the 2013 NBA season. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. How far are the Knicks going in the NBA playoffs this season? And like I've always said, it always depends on matchups. And right now, the New York Knicks seem like they're about to have a favorable matchup heading into the NBA playoffs. And not only are they headed into a favorable matchup in the NBA playoffs, it seems like their second round opponent is going to be a favorable matchup for the New York Knicks as well. And I think that this is the year where the New York Knicks can finally end their drought of not going to the Eastern Conference Finals, because I believe that the New York Knicks are going to end up being in the Eastern Conference Finals this year, led by Jalen Brunson, as he has played incredible basketball for the New York Knicks. I believe that New York Knicks are going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals because of their defense, because of the fact that Jalen Brunson has been an incredible basketball player for the New York Knicks. And also, I feel like the Eastern Conference is very weak in general. I'm looking right now at the play-in matches. You got the Heat 76ers going up against each other, and then you've got the Hawks and Bulls going up against each other for the 9-10 seed game. Obviously, I feel like the winner of the 7-8 game is going to play the 2 seed, which is going to be the New York Knicks. So right now, if I'm the New York Knicks, I'm going to be watching the Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers play against each other, because that's a pretty key matchup to see in general. If you're the New York Knicks, I believe they could beat either of those teams. But if you had to pick one in terms of who would they rather play, I think they would rather play the Philadelphia 76ers. Why do I say that? Because although they do have Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid is not 100% healthy. I hear that he's supposed to be back for the NBA playoffs, but we know that Joel Embiid is never 100% in these playoff games. We all know that Joel Embiid gets banged up more than other NBA players, and that he runs out of gas sooner rather than later. Although that if they do play the Miami Heat, I think the New York Knicks can beat them. I know that they lost to them last year, but I think they can avenge last year's loss because they do have a better roster. Look, last year it was a one-man show. This year that's not the case. They've got solid weapons all over the place. They've got Jalen Brunson, who has played incredible basketball. They've got Donte DiVincenzo, who has really stepped up for the New York Knicks lately. Of course, OG Anunoby has played good basketball for the New York Knicks as well. And of course, Josh Hart has been giving them activity on the defensive end of the floor. I like what Josh Hart has done so far for the New York Knicks during his time there, because of the fact that he is a great glue guy. He's not going to put up a lot of great numbers, but he knows his role. He's going to play great defense, and he's going to give the New York Knicks energy on that side of the floor. So obviously, you've got to appreciate what Josh Hart has done for the New York Knicks. But either way, though, like I've said, the New York Knicks, they're going to find a way to beat either the Philadelphia 76ers or the Miami Heat. Now, who do I think they're ultimately going to play? I think they're going to ultimately play the Philadelphia 76ers. I think the 76ers match up better against the Miami Heat compared to the Miami Heat matching up better against the 76ers. And I think that the 76ers are going to find a way to get the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. But I think in a playoff series, I think the New York Knicks are going to beat the Philadelphia 76ers. They're the better team. They're the deeper team. And honestly, you look at this New York Knicks defense and you're thinking, wow, there's a reason why they're an elite defensive team. And that's always the case with Tom Thibodeau as the head coach, right? Whenever you think about Tom Thibodeau as a head coach of a basketball team, you always think strong defense and a gritty team where they have played their star players every single minute possible. They always like to play their star players tons of minutes all the time, and they're ready for playoff basketball. Unlike most of the NBA, the New York Knicks actually care about the regular season, and you can tell based on their record, because right now a 50-32 record is good enough for the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. And you're looking at that Knicks roster and you're wondering, how can they be a 2 seed with the roster that they have? But they did it because Jalen Brunson is a gamer, and the fact that their supporting cast is very good. I think the New York Knicks Knicks are set up perfectly to beat the Philadelphia 76ers come playoff time. Obviously, if they play the Miami Heat, that's going to be a little bit harder of a matchup for the Knicks because Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in all of basketball, and that when it comes to playoff time, Eric Spoelstra is very good at X's and O's. And of course, you can't forget about playoff Jimmy Butler, because playoff Jimmy Butler turns into prime Michael Jordan. That's how good Jimmy Butler is in the playoffs, but we'll see what happens. I think they ultimately play the Philadelphia 76ers. Then, of course, they get to advance to the second round. It seems like they're going to play the winner of the Pacers-Bucks playoff series. I know a lot of people like to clown on Doc Rivers right now, myself included. I think that Doc Rivers is an overrated head coach, but I'm looking at the rosters between the Bucks and the Pacers. I'm thinking there is no way that the Pacers are going to beat the Bucks in a 7-game series. Yes, I know the Pacers owned the Bucks in the regular season, but regular season basketball and playoff basketball are two completely different animals. And obviously, you look at how playoff Dame Lillard is coming up. I know that Damian Lillard has had a down year for the Milwaukee Bucks, but when you look at this Indiana Pacers team, this is a team that is led around Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner, but that's really all you could say about this Pacers team. I'm not that high on the Pacers compared to other people. I wish that the Pacers were in the play-in tournament instead of being the 6th seed, because I don't feel like they're a better basketball team than the Philadelphia 76ers or the Miami Heat. My point is the Indiana Pacers, they're not going to beat the Bucks in a 7-game series, which means that the Bucks, they're going to advance to the second round of the NBA playoffs, which means that I think the New York Knicks are going to go up against the Milwaukee Bucks in the second round of the NBA playoffs. And when that happens, I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to choke a series against the New York Knicks. You look at this team on paper, you're thinking, yeah, of course the Milwaukee Bucks are better than the New York Knicks, but obviously on paper and on court are two totally different things. I believe that when the New York Knicks show up on the basketball court against the Milwaukee Bucks, if they were to play each other in the NBA playoffs, I believe that the New York Knicks are going to beat this team in a 7-game series because of the fact that Doc Rivers is not going to have an answer to slow down Jalen Brunson. And here's also the thing for the New York Knicks as well. They're missing Julius Randle for the rest of the playoffs. Some people might be wondering, how is that a good thing for the New York Knicks? But you guys have to remember that Julius Randle sucks come playoff time. Regular season, Julius Randle is a good basketball player, but postseason, Julius Randle is a bad basketball player. This might actually be a blessing in disguise that Julius Randle is missing the rest of the playoffs for the New York Knicks, because of the fact that the New York Knicks are going to have a player that doesn't choke come playoff time. Now they can rely on Jalen Brunson and other role players to step up come playoff time. And obviously, Donte DiVincenzo has stepped up big time for the New York Knicks. Donte DiVincenzo is one of the main reasons why the New York Knicks are the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. I need to hear more people praise Donte DiVincenzo because he has played a key role in the success of the New York Knicks. As a Warriors fan, I'm wondering where was this Donte DiVincenzo last year for the Warriors, because Donte DiVincenzo was not even playing anywhere close to this good for the Golden State Warriors. But obviously he has stepped it up since he joined the New York Knicks. There's a reason why he's had a career year, and that's because Tom Thibodeau has put him in positions to be successful playing basketball the right way. Obviously he can score the basketball. He's a solid defender, and anytime you get a solid defender in Tom Thibodeau's system, well, the defense for Tom Thibodeau is going to be really good. And obviously in a 7-game series, defense matters more than offense, and the New York Knicks have the better defense compared to the Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, I know the Milwaukee Bucks have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Damian Lillard, and Chris Middleton, but when you look at defense, obviously the New York Knicks have the better defense, and I trust defense over offense in a 7-game series, particularly a series that involves the New York Knicks, which means the New York Knicks are going to beat the Milwaukee Bucks, which means, in other words, I got the New York Knicks going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they're going to ultimately lose to the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. I believe that this is the year where the Celtics advance to the NBA Finals. Their roster is too deep not to get there, but that doesn't matter if you're the New York Knicks, because you've overachieved once again. And congratulations to Tom Thibodeau for the successful run that he has had on the New York Knicks, because he has obviously contributed good basketball to the city of New York, and obviously he has turned the New York Knicks into an exciting basketball team, which is something that I haven't been able to say in my entire lifetime. You look at how the New York Knicks are the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference for the first time since the 2013 NBA season, and I predict that the New York Knicks are going to end another drought in the NBA, which is not advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals since 1999. That drought is going to end this year. I'm not even a Knicks fan, I'm actually a Hornets fan, but I'm telling you guys right now that the New York Knicks are going to end the drought in the Eastern Conference Finals, and that they're going to get there this year somehow, someway. They're going to figure it out, and they're going to win the first round, they're going to win the second round, and of course Doc Rivers would be the kind of coach that would end the drought for the New York Knicks. I'm just joking in all seriousness, but all jokes have a truth side to it at some point, and obviously Doc Rivers is a choke artist come playoff time, and obviously I'm glad that the New York Knicks are playing as well well as they have been because they made Stephen A. Smith look foolish. Obviously, Stephen A. Smith has not been a very smart analyst whatsoever. I wouldn't even call him an analyst. He is more of an entertainer. I want to show you guys this clip of Stephen A. Smith being unaware of how good the New York Knicks have been, even though he is a New York Knicks fan, because he lists out players that have not been major contributors for the New York Knicks as the reason why they've been so good. Roll the film.
I'm looking at Grimes. He's looked good. I'm looking at Isaiah Hartenstein as a reserve, giving you activity off the bench. I'm looking at Mitchell Robinson being here on the court, back on the court. I'm thinking about this. And OG Anunoby is back in the lineup. Still favoring that elbow a little bit, but he's back in the lineup.
Wow. New York Knicks fan Stephen A. Smith, or so he calls himself, a Knicks super fan, lied once again. No wonder why everybody calls him Stephen A. Myth, because all he does is lie all the time. This dude couldn't even get down the facts right on his own team. Look, it's already bad enough that he is supposedly the face of NBA coverage on ESPN, but it's the fact that he's also a New York Knicks fan and he couldn't even realize what was the reason why the New York Knicks were so successful. How do you rave about the New York Knicks this year and not mention Jalen Brunson? Because Jalen Brunson has been the best point guard in the Eastern Conference this year, and he has played excellent basketball for the New York Knicks. I mean, in other words, Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks are insane. They have provided the New York Knicks great basketball, and obviously, if you're a New York Knicks fan, you have to rave about Jalen Brunson. That should be the first name anybody is thinking of when you're giving credit to the success of the New York Knicks. Without Jalen Brunson, the New York Knicks are probably a play-in team, but with Jalen Brunson in their starting lineup and playing excellent basketball, they're the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, and right now, I'm going to say that the New York Knicks, they're going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm confident that this is going to be their year in terms of going to the Eastern Conference Finals. The stars are aligned in their favor. All the New York Knicks have to do is not mess it up come playoff time, which I believe they will not do that, and they will actually do their jobs for once and for all, which means the New York Knicks are going to win 2 playoff series, which is something that they haven't done since 1999, and I believe that they're going to end their drought. And obviously, you got to give Jalen Brunson a ton of credit for the success of the New York Knicks. So that is why the New York Knicks will end up going to the Eastern Conference Finals this season, as they have a favorable path in the NBA playoffs moving forward. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, let me shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @Dustin-Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Dustin-Tran and at Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Dustin-Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.